Maybe just start with the fact that you got a couple of practice days here, and I imagine come out of the break, that's nice to be able to put some work in here before the rest of this trip.
Yeah, I think when you're sort of just winging it in New York the other night,
Yeah.
you're just trying to get guys to stick to the structure and reinforce their responsibilities when they got the puck and when they don't got the puck. So now you got to step on it again.
Is that where that team structure though, that you always have something to revert back? I know you've talked about that in years past
Yeah.
too. It's always there, that template
Yep.
to kind of go back to.
Yep, and I think even more so the team, like with our team, because it's not a star team, so you need everybody to participate in the playbook part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Given the 3 losses against some of the bottom feeding teams in the league, is that something you try to prepare the team for? Like, don't play down to the opposition?
Meaning tomorrow?
Yeah.
It's a pretty good hockey club, Eric. You should watch them a little closer. Pretty good team. I mean, this division has studs for young players. I mean, you could take 3 or 4 guys off this team, and they'd be stars on everybody's team. So I don't look at it as that at all. I think that when you play against stars, they can beat you. So they got stars.
Yeah. When you look at your back end, and you talked about at one point maybe even looking at 3 and Lindholm having to go back, but
Yeah. He was ready. Yeah, even that timeout, he went. If you go back and watch, I said Lindy, because I didn't know what they were calling there. If they were gonna drag him, throw him in the hole too for a while. But I said Lindy, and yet he went out that timeout and he was doing some little backward stuff because he was gonna have to play his wrong side too.
I was going to ask you, what would the pairing have been? Because who do you?
Well, he'd have had to go with Stoney.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So you'd have been on the right side, and then Lindholm would have been on the left.
Lindy be left.
Then
Yeah.
you'd have
Did he ever play defense, to your knowledge, in his career?
I think the Swedish guys are so 200 foot. They're the first guys you think. Well, I just went to Lindy. I said, "You're gonna have to go." He goes, "Oh yeah, he's ready."
I know you only had the 3 chances to look at it, but what did you think of your power play the other night in terms of what they're? And I know you're working on it again today.
Yeah, I would just, you know what, we watched and did a lot of work on the break on it, coaches, and we kind of had the 5 guys set for 50 games, just kind of rolled with it, and we just thought we'd change it up a little bit. We wanted to get Pelche more involved in it, see if we could get some offense out of him. Just get a different look in terms of up top with Ross, and Ty's such a good shooter on it. Trying to get some more opportunities on it. And leaving Naz and Johnny together. We've got to find some chemistry on the power play too.
You kind of have that like a line structure too, right? It's kind of
Well, it's hard when
one.
you know what, with those 5 guys that we've had all along. So they're different lines, right? So when you're starting a power play, there's 1 or 2 that are usually one of them's out there when the power play was, right?
Yeah.
So you get somebody that's already been on the ice for 30, 40 seconds and he's half gassed.
Yeah.
So you always go, geez, so this way it's a little more functional, I think, in terms of energy. Now it's got to be a little more functional in terms of execution. And they scored exactly what they practiced, right? You know what, they moved it around quick. They had a good bumper play, and Ross gives the tie, and Ty attacks and shoots. So, that's how you score in the power plays.
Can I just ask you one question about, I know this isn't the same building, but
Yeah.
just your fond memories or something that sticks out whenever you come to Detroit?
Well, I love the history. I come and walk around even last night with Peter, and the history of the building. They've taken enough out of Joe Louis that's still here, and just being in that old Norris division, Detroit, Chicago, a lot of history. I mean, that was the best division to be in because Toronto, Detroit, Chicago, you had 3 of the original 6 teams. It's pretty cool to be in, and then there was old buildings too. And so then to see Detroit. When I first started playing, Detroit was not a very good hockey club, and so it wasn't that hard to come to Detroit. And then as evolution of all those young players, and then bringing in the free agents, and the Russians and the Swedes. They became like such a dominant team. I mean, if you go look, even those years in Chicago, when I was a young coach and Scotty was coaching here, they were a force, right? But we had a really good team too. We could stay right with them. Then you think about '04 when we beat Detroit. If you just did, it's like a $90 million payroll to a $30 million payroll. So it just tells you that teams, and you get the playoffs, just tells you. That's why I say you got to make the playoffs. It's harder to make it, right? Once you get in, then it changes. It's 7 games, 2 weeks. Right? So that's nice. When you come from the airport downtown, I think in my mind, I remember games. I can remember things that jump out at you from series and games.
Yeah.
Yeah.